been staying at home, and when you're stuck at home, sometimes you end up eating and reaching for snacks a lot. And I don't know about you guys, but I prefer salty snacks over sweet. So today I thought I'd show you a salty snack that's a little bit more healthy than reaching for a bag of chips. So I'm going to teach you how to make really simple oven roasted potatoes with rosemary, and they're really crispy and yummy. So keep watching if you want to know how to make those. As you can see, we don't even need that much ingredients for this. You're just going to use whatever type of potatoes you have at home. This is really more of like what's in your pantry. So if you have big potatoes, that's fine too. If you have these like little fingerling potatoes like me, you can definitely use these. You can use rosemary, that's what I like to use, but honestly you could even use dill, you could use parsley, you could use whatever dried herbs that you have at home and that you would like to use. And then salt and pepper, and olive oil or any other type of cooking oil. Those are all of the ingredients that you're gonna need to use. In addition, you're gonna need a flat baking sheet or a pan, a Pyrex pan, anything that you can put into the oven and that will fit your amount of potatoes that you wanna make. And you're gonna put a sheet of parchment paper on top so that it doesn't stick. You're gonna eventually need your oven mitt to take everything out. You're gonna need a cutting board and a knife to cut your potatoes up. And we're just gonna go ahead and start our oven to preheat to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Guys, before we start, we wanna make sure that we wash our hands really, really well using soap and water, and for the recommended 20 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna come over here to the cutting board so we can start prepping our potatoes. Before you start cutting your potatoes, make sure that they're washed really well because we're gonna leave the skins on. So we wanna make sure there's no dirt on them, nothing like that, and then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna start cutting them. Okay guys, so to prep the potatoes, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be cutting them lengthwise and then I'm gonna cut them again because I have like nice small potatoes, so this gives me small enough of a shape that it can get pretty crispy. So the more skin, the more surface area that you have on your potato pieces, the more crispy they'll be. So if I put this whole potato into the oven, the skin is only the outside part and the inside is all meaty, so it's going to be very soft in the middle even if it gets crispy on the outside. And what I want is crispy potatoes, so I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces. So for you, you're just going to have to determine how small of a piece that you want to cut your potatoes in, depending on how big your potatoes are. So if you're using like big potatoes, then maybe just cut them into 8s or something like that so that you can get nice crispy pieces. So I'm just going to continue cutting all of these. Okay, so one by one, and you can use a smaller knife than this, and if you need help, please ask a parent or a guardian for help with cutting everything down, okay? ASMR. Look, I actually love the sound of cutting potatoes. Okay, and then so now my potatoes are all cut up and ready to go. If you look into my pot, you'll see that I have them cut to roughly the same size, and that's important so that they cook evenly, okay? So if you have a piece that's cut really, really small and a piece that's really big, the big one will still be hard and undercooked while the small one will start burning. So if you get them all to roughly the same size, they'll be done cooking at the same time. What I'm gonna do is get these seasoned and ready to go in the oven. So I'm gonna add in some salt. Depends on how much potatoes you're making. For the amount that I'm making, it's probably like 2 tablespoons maybe. And then some black pepper. If you have fresh ground pepper, that's even better. Okay. And then I'm gonna put in some rosemary. Oh, that's my oven telling me that it's ready to go, so that's perfect timing. Adding in my rosemary right now, but I can't show you because I only have 2 hands and one is holding the camera. So I can't twist this. Oh, no, yeah, not dexterous enough. Okay, so now I'm adding in my olive oil. I like to be a little bit generous with this just because it helps the potatoes get nice and crispy. Okay. All that's left is to start stirring these around and make sure that everything gets evenly coated with all of the seasoning, all of the spices, and the oil. So just give it a good mix up. It's hard to do with one hand, so you know, you'll do a lot better than me. and just make sure they're all coated. Now that our potatoes are nice and coated in our seasoning and in our olive oil, I'm gonna take them over to the tray and I'm gonna put them on here. Ooh, yummy. And then you're gonna start spreading these out so that they're all have space and they're all as face down as they can be. So there's like many sides, but you just pick a side, put them face down on it, on the baking sheet, and make sure they're not all clumped on top of each other like that. You want them to actually be laid out on the tray. So now that I have this ready and my oven is preheated, it's ready to go in. So I'm gonna open up the oven and I'm gonna put this on the bottom rack of the ovens because potatoes take a while to cook. So I'm gonna put them in there. Okay, don't wanna burn myself looking at the camera instead of the thing. So put them in there. I'm gonna close it up and I'm gonna leave them in there for about 20 minutes. Okay, so now my potatoes are all laid out and ready. You can see I have them all spread out and facing down as much as possible. That's gonna help them get nice and crispy. Yum. And like I said, you can really add any type of herbs that you want to this, any type of seasonings. That's what I like about cooking, is that you can really do what you want with it, and you can make variations and put in different ingredients. You know, with baking, you have to be really precise and follow the recipe, but with cooking, you can be really creative. Ooh, can you all hear that? It's sizzling. Yum. All right, so these are done. I just pulled them out of the oven. As you can see, they're like nice and crispy. And if you look at the underside of one of the potatoes, you'll see that they're like nice and browned. Let's check this one. See, there's like a little bit of color on them. I can't wait to eat these. I'm just gonna let them cool down for a second. Okay, so there you have it. That's how to make some crispy rosemary potatoes in the oven. If you give this a try, please put it on your social media, tag our account so that we can see. I'd love to see your own version of crispy oven roasted potatoes.